Hello, and welcome all to the 35th part of the series on self exploration. Joining the dots, contemplating, comprehending, and sharing it with you all raw. All that sounds great is the grace of all those who have blessed me, and all that sounds not so great is my limitation. We are exploring the Vincian intelligence from parts 31 to 40, and those who have directly landed on this part, please find the links for the remaining parts in the description box below. We are going to discuss the fourth principle of Da Vincian intelligence in this part, the sfumato. Sfumato is going up in smoke, going up in smoke. It is the willingness to embrace ambiguity, paradox, and uncertainty. Willingness to embrace ambiguity, paradox, and uncertainty. In the earlier parts, we have discussed curiosity and sensation. Both curiosity and sensation take us to experiences and experimentation. And experimentation is opening up to the unknown. We experiment what we are not knowing or what we are not very sure of. And unknown is uncertainty. The stepping step or the stepping in for sfumato. Next step to curiosity, demonstration and sensation is opening our mind to this uncertainty. It is the single most powerful secret of unleashing our creative potentials, says the book. The principle of sfumato is the key to that openness. Leonardo's phenomenal ability to hold the tension of opposites, to embrace uncertainty, ambiguity, and paradox. That was a critical characteristic of his genius. In Sensazione, we discussed about gazing or catching the empty spaces between two sound notes, the empty spaces between two breaths, between two thoughts. And creativity upsurge comes in such empty spaces, because when our mind becomes empty, something downloads from the divine. If we are able to catch that, a creativity piece lands. It appears. All creative people will 100% agree to this thought. It could be a poem, a story, some discovery, anything that is created is always created in an empty space. For me, my poems always came in such spaces between two actions. In a particular trance, I understood that yes, a poem will come now. It could be anywhere, anytime. Intuition is the art of listening to your own body music that tells us something before it actually comes. I have written like crazy for years and years together. In such moments of trance, when something downloaded, my hands at times could not take the speed of that download. They pained as if I was writing some exam paper, but the flow never stopped. That was a phase, and now the pen is at rest for quite a while. Nothing is coming. Nothing is coming. It could be a big pause between two creative phases, or it could be the end of that creative phase in my life. Probably nothing may come now, or 100 more poems may come. That is uncertainty. That is uncertainty. And facing this uncertainty in great spirits is sfumato. Not being desperate and still throwing yourselves is sfumato. The greatest geniuses sometimes accomplish more when they work less apparently. When external work is more, internal work minimizes because your mind is bahirmukh, as we call it. It is looking outside. And when external work seems to stop or comes to a standstill, seems to come for a standstill, the internal work starts. When that will happen, how much that will happen, nobody can say. Real poets or real creative artists can never predict that they will be able to write a song or write a story like for some movie or for some drama. Not knowing what and when next will come or not come, and ready to take whatever comes. Coming back to parenting, as a parent, I have always experienced that my son at times did not seem to do anything for days at end. Otherwise, he was a voracious worker. He has been a maths bug and constantly doing some problems, some thinking. Initially, I used to feel concerned that why this blank patch? Is everything okay? Do I need to pay attention? But I observed that whenever he went on this external inactive phase, he ended up with some fresh idea or an uncracked maths problem for a long time. That means when he externally looked dormant, he was proactive internally. After that, whenever he looked quiet externally, I used to eagerly await for something new. And let me tell you, he never disappointed me. So as parents, many a times we are very keen on keeping the kids busy at something or the other. Schoolwork, extra activities, this, that. And in doing that, we miss out on giving such empty patches to them. Patches of nothing assigned, nothing assigned. Children must be given such space, such mental space is what I always emphasize to my parents. And something absolutely out of the box may come out at the end of such a phase of incubation. This is called as the art of incubation. Coming back to our point, embracing the ambiguity and trusting our gut, going up in smoke, throwing ourselves completely into a cause without measuring the depths, jumping without measuring the depths into a bottomless pit. Manifesting a thought. What is sfumato? What is sfumato? As we awaken our powers of curiosity, as we probe the depths of experience, as we sharpen our senses, we come face to face with the unknown. And keeping ourselves open to that uncertainty is invariably sfumato. How do we check out that we are ready for sfumato? We can check out if we are comfortable with ambiguity. If I spend sufficient time on my own, if I can relax in ambiguity and wait for it to unfold. If I can comfortably hold contradictory ideas in my mind, handle them parallelly. If I find delight in paradox, I enjoy two opposite ideas. Wow! Curiosity is uncertainty, because only when you are uncertain about something you are curious. If you know something, if you are certain, you are not curious, you are confident in that case. So curiosity is uncertainty. Making friends with this ambiguity, even observing that ambiguity in our body. We feel that ambiguity somewhere in our body if we are ambiguous. We may feel it in our head, we may feel it in our heart, we may feel it in our stomach, we may feel it in our gut, we may feel it in our legs. Observing that ambiguity will give us an insight in the weaker areas of our body, and we may work on this ambiguity on a very different note. We are going to explore this idea ahead in the coming parts. So we need to observe and note down our anxiety, ambiguity. We may monitor our intolerance for ambiguity. We may cultivate confusion endurance if we wish to raise ourselves on the path of sfumato. Because observing paradoxes and handling them very effectively, mastering the child within us, being our own parent, is a big step towards excellence. Something we are confused about, and we are able to convince ourselves to hold on for that confusion, to have patience, to think of options. Is like parenting ourselves. We have discussed this ambiguity or paradox in some of our earlier parts of self-exploration. We have discussed of the concept of anti-war in third part. We have discussed about Parallelima in 23rd and 24th part. I'll put the links of that in the description box. Those who would wish to visit those parts may check on those links. So ambiguity is having that double feeling, toggled feeling at the same time. Feeling of joy and sorrow at the same time. Feeling intimacy and independence in some of our closest relations. At the same time, I feel extremely intimate with somebody, and at the same time, I'm sure of my independence in that relation. We may think of our strengths and weaknesses at the same time and relate them constructively. Use our strengths to strengthen our weaknesses, and use our weaknesses to pacify our strengths. Is an art, is an entry point to sfumato, handling paradoxes. Recognizing our evil thoughts, our sloths, without acting them out. We may think of things that are constant in my life and things that constantly change at the same time. We may think of the facts about which we are proud and the facts about which we are humble, moments that make us feel pride and moments that humble us. Find similarities, connect them. Feel proud about your humility, be humble about your prides. Think of the goals we have kept and the process we adapted to reach to that goals. And then, did the end justify the means? So many such areas where we can connect, think of paradoxical concepts and develop the potential to handle those paradoxes effectively simultaneously. When we learn to do this and balance our lives and minds, we develop a holistic thinking, opposite ideas thought holistically, patiently. That is called as whole brain thinking. To weigh a situation and emotion on logical and emotional sides both, making your both hemispheres of brain active and collaborative. Artisanza, whole brain thinking, the next principle of Da Vincian intelligence. We discuss it in the next part. Stay tuned. Bye bye.